Um, sure, yeah. I know. Do you need me to broadcast? Okay. Can see it? Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. I will mute my. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. You go first. Tell me when to go to do that, and I'll just go.
And then I'll be full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I realized that you already have that I already and I was going to be something that the cost of already
I am as of today, not as of tomorrow. Yeah, no,
Hey.
This is Sarah.
Are you living in the neighborhood?
I'm not, I'm here.
Oh, very good.
Okay. So I'm here to find out about, I know that's about. So, you know, I know.
I know. So,
Nice to see you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Kennedy.
Jeremy Porch, nice to meet
And
you.
nice to meet you. I'm with the St. James House of Prayer.
Okay.
And we want to be on your tour if you're doing it this year.
Absolutely. So, I don't know what the plans are for the tour, because it was supposed to happen in October and then it got bumped and then. The air. No, that's, like, it's a focus, I think they want to have it in April.
Okay,
Oh, wow. Not entirely sure. This is my last meeting, but I'm happy to pass. along. I walk the dog all the time. This is up by the 7th.
it's a Little Rock Church.
Oh, I love this. I walk this all the time.
Yes.
Church.
Well, we wanna have tour people done because we just finished a refurbishment of the entire inside of the church.
Oh, wonderful.
Paid for by an insurance company because the last hurricane trashed the water running down the walls on the inside.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was, Mike came up because I was kind of spearheading the last one.
Yeah.
Then once it got canceled at the end, because the other person was working on it.
Yeah, well, they're complicated. They're complicated.
Because we were gonna show our houses on it as well, so,
Oh, okay,
yeah, once it comes back up.
okay, we'll keep my card and pass it on to whoever's doing it.
I absolutely
And
will.
we'll man our own, we'll have people there to, so we won't depend on y'all to,
Well, I really appreciate it. I've always wanted to see the inside of that church. So
Well, now's the time, because we just redid it. It's beautiful.
I tried to poke my head in on Sunday, that's the day after gas.
Oh, yeah, you might not be in good shape.
But one of these weekends, very soon, I'm gonna put my head in,
Okay,
because I think it's a pretty strong.
okay, well, we want to invite a little delegation from the Tampa Heights Association. If you want to come over and look on a Saturday. And just, just look around the grounds and look, and we own the property across the street too.
The big, the gigantic.
Yeah, we own the lot. We're trying to build affordable housing,
Okay.
but, it's a big project.
Big undertaking.
Yeah, so it's taken us a long time to decide what we wanted to do. But we're into lawyers. Which, that tells you really are starting, if you're into lawyers. So, well, we'll see what happens. I'll just keep calling, and see, and
Yeah, and I'll pass this
Yeah.
along to the next board.
Yeah.
Because I know, we want to get it up, they want to get it. moving, so
okay,
we
well,
have to have more participants.
I'm just gonna be. Well, it's historic, it has a historic designation. We've taken real good care of it, we've really tried hard to keep it from,
Crumbling.
yeah, it's, well, about historic homes, they're just. Like, not again.
I'm lucky, I got one of these, he did a good job on it.
Oh, we did. Oh, you redo houses. Just in your spare time. We involuntarily did ours. Yeah. Oh, nice to meet you.
Here we go. It's an color button. There we go. What? No? All right.
Bird, one stone. Test.
It's a nice one thing.
Check, check. Check, check. 2 microphones. Check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our meeting. If you could please take a seat, we'd appreciate that. We've got some folks waiting on Zoom. You got the presentation, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you so much for coming out on this Wednesday night. My name's Brian Seal. I'm the parliamentarian, the Tampa Heights Civic Association. What that means is the past president. We'll touch on this in a little while, but I will be presiding over tonight's meeting. I want to start off with a few announcements. Then we will move into our first major agenda item of the night, which is our annual elections. And then we will welcome Ellison Development and the YMCA to give an update presentation on their large development project here in the neighborhood. One thing I would like to add is that this meeting is being recorded as well as broadcast on Zoom. And so by being present, you are giving your consent to be potentially recorded and shared. We do upload these to YouTube for those that are not present, or if you have a neighbor or friend who wishes to view this, we upload them and make them available on our YouTube page after that. There's also a reason that I'm working with two mics right now. One obviously controls the speakers here in the room, and the other one feeds into the computer for those on Zoom. So if you are a presenter, or if you have a question or have an announcement to make, when we get to announcements, I would like to ask that you come up to the lower stage here and speak into the microphone so that everybody online can hear you. Otherwise, they will not be able to hear you. Thank you. So, getting down to business, the first announcement I'd like to make for those that are familiar with the Civic Association and have been involved for a while, and in particularly have followed along with what's been going on the last year, you'll notice that there has been a few interruptions, that there's been a little bit of miscommunication or lack of communication. And some of that is due to we had some significant changeovers on the board during the past year and some shuffling of positions. But with tonight's election, I'd like to reassure everybody that we're getting back on the track to stability and better planning, as well as more engagement. And so a key part to that is I'd like to recognize Rick Fernandez, who many in this room know. Rick is a past president of the Civic Association, and he is returning to the president's role. Now, you might ask, why is that not being covered in the election tonight? And we want to just discuss this for full transparency's sake. The president's role is a 2-year role. I served in that role for 2 years, and now I have transitioned to the parliamentarian role, which Rick had previously served for 2 years. So we dealt with something like this last year and are dealing with it again. When positions open up, the Civic Association has the option to fill that position with its own appointment. We had 2 presidents resign over the course of the past year. It led to a lot of shuffling on the board, a lot of instability in terms of our planning. And so we chose, instead of putting this up for election, that we needed a steady hand, an experienced hand to come in. Josh resigned as president in early December. So we had a decision to make because the qualifying period for our elections by the bylaws had already passed. And so we decided to ask Rick to rejoin, and he graciously has. And so starting next month, Rick will be presiding over the Civic Association meetings. Rick, do you want to make any comments at this time? Maybe we'll buy a stand before then. Thanks, Rick. The second person I wanted to recognize is Jason, who's in the back of the room here. Jason Gonzalez, you raise your hand there. Jason has the distinction of being the first Tampa Heights Civic Association staff member. So part of talking about changing things up in 2024, bringing some more stability to the organization, we've brought Jason on part-time. He also serves and helps with the Junior Civic Association as well. So he's got some background in the neighborhood, some continuity here, and he's gonna provide more support, administrative support to what we do. So along with that, Jason is looking through dues and who is current on their dues. And so if you have any questions about that, he has the list. We have discussed this before in previous meetings, but a year ago, we updated our dues structure, which hadn't been updated for decades. So the individual membership went from $12 to $24. Due to a back-end problem with our payment processor, we are not able to update those on the back end. We've tried a million ways. So the solution is to get everybody to sign back up at the new rate, and then your current dues will be refunded after that. So Jason's going to help with some of that when we talk about administrative things and little detailed work that hasn't gotten taken care of because of some of the issues this year. That's one of them. So he'll be helping us out through that if you have any questions tonight. The next announcement I'd like to make, next month's meeting, Wednesday, February 28th at 7 p.m. is going to be taking place at Armature Works, not in this building. We have gotten a generous offer to be hosted by Adam Hardin and company over there. They're going to be giving an update on their master development plan. And then there's a second major development presentation going on that night. That's going to be from the Robles Park Village team. So a lot of folks have followed along with what's going on up there, the redevelopment of the public housing project. They have gotten their HUD approvals on that. And so, which is the major federal urban housing approvals. And so they are getting ready to go to the city of Tampa for their master rezoning and starting construction sometime soon on that. So they're going to come to the community, give an update on all facets of that development. So it's going to be a big month next month. Please look out for some of that, but certainly two large projects that affect this neighborhood a great deal. So a chance to learn what's going on and provide your feedback. Next announcement I'd like to make is that we invite you to join committees. We really want to up our participation this year, that it's not just about attending these meetings, but certainly everybody loves Tampa Heights for one reason or another, right? We live here, we stay here, we work here for a reason. We are heavily invested in this neighborhood, both financially and time-wise. And there's a lot that we can give back, and people have different goals and visions in different areas for that. We really want to get everybody's involvement in that. And we also don't want this to just be a land use and development organization. We want to do fun social activities. We want to do park cleanups. We want to serve our neighbors. We want to do so much more than this. But what that takes is involvement. And we have not had that involvement. We have not had folks that have stepped up and said, hey, I want to help everybody have a fun time. I want to help serve our neighborhood. I want to clean things up where they need to be cleaned up. I want to do outreach to the new people that have moved in here. All of those things need your help. And I'm sure somebody, feels strongly about one or more of those things. So actively, we currently have an active land use committee. We just created a parks committee as well. Other committees that are not active, but have existed in the past: transportation, neighborhood improvement, social committee, tour of homes. We're trying to get the tour of homes back on the schedule. But if there's any other special project that you would like to work on, we can form a committee for that too. It really is, if you have a passion for something, we can help plug you in, use the resources of the Civic Association as well as our relationships with the city to try to get things done there. So finally, for announcements, I'd like to just open it up to the floor. If anybody has any additional announcements to make, we're not going to be having any chair reports tonight. So if there's any announcements that folks would like to make, Aaron? Yeah, please come on up and.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin McKenna. I don't know where I'm supposed to stand. Sorry. Should I stand next to you? Stand next to me. Give me some strict. So my name is Erin McKenna, and I live at 2212 North Morgan Street on the corner of Morgan and Francis. An earshot from Grand Cathedral Cigars. I don't know if you are aware, we have a city council hearing tomorrow at 1:30 to hopefully suspend their special use ordinance so they can won't be able to serve alcohol there anymore. We have been dealing with this issue for, I think it's 1,155 days of dealing with constant noise. We initially started, we were talking with Grand Cathedral, trying to work with them. We've got the Civic Association involved. We called TPD, we made noise complaints, nothing was getting done. And actually one of our neighbors was retaliated against. Instead of turning down the volume or actually following their ordinance, a letter was sent to his HR department stating that he was harassing them and abusing his position to harass Grand Cathedral Cigars. So that's when I became involved, because that's ridiculous. This person was just speaking for the people on our street like me who have no idea what to do. So I can send you the link. There's flyers out front, a link to our website that we've made to try to drum up support. But this is 105 pages of documents that shows all of their violations. Their special use ordinance does not encompass the patio area, which is where all the noise originates from. So there's constant drinking and live music on the patio, and it hasn't been enforced. So I've contacted development, I've contacted zoning, I've contacted historic preservation because there's a green tarp. I've bugged everybody, and we finally have a chance to have our voices heard. And I could really, really use your support because I am the little guy who's never done this before, and I'm putting myself out there. Did 2 interviews this morning for the news, and I'm sure people are going to hate me after, but the fact that they are not being good neighbors, you guys saw how many people rallied around King State when they were having issues with the city. I waited in line for an hour and a half to get food at King State the week that everything went viral. Lee's the same way, and we need good neighbors in our neighborhood. I don't want to be afraid to go out and walk past that establishment for fear of retaliation. So if you could, please grab a flyer out front. If you can sign a letter of support, it's just urging city council to please take it seriously. I dropped the 9 packets off to them last week, so they have all this information and it's on the record for the agenda. I had been speaking with them via email, but honestly, I'm a single mom and I work on commission only, and I need to make money. So my time is very limited. So I'm doing the best I can. If anybody has any resources, anybody they could reach out to, if you could come to the hearing, you don't have to speak, just come show your support, because they're taking the stance that they're the ones that have revitalized our neighborhood and gotten rid of the homelessness, when in fact they failed their fire inspection in 2021. A cigar bar has no certificate of occupancy. They did not pull any permits for the construction outside. And it's just, this is all the violations. And I can pass it around if you want to see it, but please, 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 I'm begging for your support. Anything that you can do would be super helpful. Yes, the city council meeting is tomorrow at 1:30 at Old City Hall. I talked to Susan Johnson Velez, the attorney for the city. She said she's going to work very hard to make sure that it starts right at 1:30. She knows that everybody is taking time off work if they can make it. So she's very cognizant of our time. And she's really trying to work with us. So we really just need to have our voices heard. Yes. Well, it's not the liquor license that would be revoked. It would be the special use ordinance, the zoning. And city council has the authority under section 27318 to suspend their license for 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the gravity of the complaints. This is not just a noise issue at this point. If it was just a noise issue, them closing off their patio would be sufficient. But now we've uncovered, there's no certificate of occupancy. They have a current code case that's been opened that also says they shouldn't be occupying the building. The city opened up another code case yesterday that says they have no CO. And then Grand Cathedral filed their application for, what is it called? Construction permitting, is that what it's called? Today, for all the construction that they did with their plans. So that tells you anything. I'm not sure if, I know it doesn't affect a lot of people. There's not a lot of people on our street, but just imagine if it was you and your street and your children that can't sleep, or your friends that are getting, HR complaints. Just, anything would help. Thank you.
This one.
Hi, my name is Andy Mikulski. Some of you guys know me. I'm the city employee. I try not to get involved in neighborhood politics. That's why you don't usually see me, but I'm the city employee that Grand Cathedral filed the HR complaint against. I was formally investigated by the city once I pointed out all the issues. I was cleared of any wrongdoing, of course. I didn't do anything wrong, but I didn't plan on coming here. But to be honest with you, my family is fearful. This is a personal vendetta, and we are fearful for our safety. I'm not going to go into the details of what I know and people who are involved. I'm not going to go into that, but you guys could you could do your research and you could see why things are not being enforced. And it's my family is fearful for our safety, and it's a disgrace that we're dealing with it. And I would like to. I'm a little fearful of us advocating to just shut them down because of some of the comments that my wife is seeing. With a bunch of shitty neighbors. I have an idea who it is. I mean, you extrapolate that all those comments, it just takes one person, and I am fearful for our safety. And number one, we should not be in the situation if the city actually pretended to enforce some of the basic building and zoning rules, it would not have escalated to this point. And I am absolutely livid. And I'm here to, as a neighbor, to fearful for our safety, which is a bizarre thing to say in this situation. So I just want to, like I said, if we could lower the temperature, because I don't want any harm to come to me or my family. And I don't know how to solve this. I believe that it just needs to be brought out into the open. Everything just needs to be put out there. And we'll just let the chips fall where they may. But we need your help, because I've been dealing with it, like Aaron said, on our street for the better part of 3 years. And it's made my life a living hell. I honestly don't want to live in this neighborhood. I don't want to live or work in this area anymore. Unfortunately, we are stuck. So we're gonna have to figure it out. So that's it. We need your help. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Kennedy. I'm in the vestry of St. James Episcopal House of Prayer, which is the Little Rock Church on Columbus Avenue. And it's at 2708 Central. And it's 100 years old this year. So we've gone through a renovation of its interior, and it looks beautiful on the inside. And we're on the outside now. And we're commercial members of this organization. And we would like to take a few of you through if you want to see it. I'll leave my number with Brian. Is that okay? And we can arrange a walkthrough of it if you want to see the inside. And we're working on the outside now. But hi, Tom. But you're welcome to come and look at it. And we're very proud of it. And we're really part of Tampa Heights. We've been here a long, long time and had a long history with Tampa Heights. And we would really like to know our neighbors and be part of this organization. So thank you.
Thank you. Along with that, are there any other announcements that we've missed? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sarah. Thanks for the update. We're glad to hear that happening. I know that that building and your congregation is a gym in this neighborhood. So thanks. And Andy and Aaron, thanks for your work and your bravery and your diligence on that issue. That's something, that our organization has tried to intervene with, going back to when they first were trying to correct their lack of wet zoning. And I personally made calls over to management there, and it's a rough situation that you guys have to endure. So yeah, like Aaron said, even if it doesn't affect you, it affects your neighbors, and it's about everybody playing by the same set of rules if you want to operate a business. So I will leave that at that. Moving on to our next item of business, the annual elections. So typically we will do this by ballot. However, we have no contested positions this year. Same occurred last year. As you might imagine, it's challenging to encourage folks to join a volunteer organization. But hopefully in future years, we will get to that point. We do have a few vacancies still. And so this occurred last year. For those that don't remember, I just want to again tell you how the process goes. Similar to Rick's appointment, we do try to work by our bylaws, and that states that the nomination period ends at the November general meeting. So there are several positions, even for folks that now wanted to join that position and have submitted their name. However, they missed the deadline. So we're trying to operate fairly by that. But the board will vote to fill those positions at the February board meeting, which is Monday, February 12th. So as I read through this slate and you hear of the vacancies, if you are interested in joining the board and would like to be considered, please send an email to Tampa Heights Civic Association at gmail.com with a statement of your interest, and we will get back to you with more details on the considerations and the candidates and how to go about being appointed. So I'd like to go through the slate, and when I call upon the board members, if you could raise your hands and be recognized so that folks know who you are. I believe everyone except for one person is a returning board member that you should be familiar with. So I mentioned the president's role, that's not up for election, and Rick Fernandez is filling the final year of that term. The first vice president is also not up for election. That is a 2-year term as well. And Kareem Young is fulfilling the final year of that term. Second vice president candidate is Jana Davis. Treasurer candidate is Billy Dobbins. The corresponding secretary candidate is Ted Marcello. The recording secretary position is vacant. Among the quadrant representatives Northeast is Faith Wind. Then the Northwest, Southwest, and Southeast quadrant representative positions are vacant. The representative at large candidate is Lena Young Green. And the parliamentarian is myself, which is never up for election. It is an automatic appointment of the past president. So I have 1 year left on that term. So with that official slate announcement and discussion about those vacancies, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the slate by acclamation, which means a voice vote for the entire slate. Okay. Second from Jeremy. Thank you. Is there any discussion on that motion? Objection to it? Thank you. Then all active members by voice vote, all in favor of the motion to approve the slate? Aye. Thank you. Any nays? Thank you. Resounding. All right. Thank you for helping us get that business out of the way. So I know a lot of folks here are interested in the next topic of discussion. I'd like to welcome up Matt Mitchell from the Tampa YMCA and Jordan Starr from Ellison Development, their master development partner here on the project. We're going to turn over the dais to them for the remainder of the evening. This is our last item of business. If there is anything at the end, we can certainly make another announcement as well, but we'll take approximately, hopefully about 15 to 20 minutes for your presentation and open it up to some Q&A. I can certainly help facilitate that Q&A and be the microphone guy if I need to. So we'll know that when we get to there. Unless it's very, very pressing, why don't we hold questions until the end? Great.
Good evening, everyone. This is really a follow-up to when we were here a while back and took some comments. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. Took some comments with respect to the YMCA and the development there. And there are some really good, sincere, genuine feedback from specifically some neighbors on Ross and how this would affect, their livelihood and their enjoyment and their sanctuary in their homes. And so really tried to do some concessions with the construction and the design of this YMCA to take into account some of the feedback that we had. I'll let Jordan talk about this a bit, then I'll get specifically into spending some time on the why.
Thanks for having us tonight. As Matt mentioned, we were here probably in October talking about the project. We brought the 3D model. We heard feedback from the neighborhood and the community members. And what we heard was kind of the hierarchy and priorities for the neighborhood in undertaking a development of this size and scale. Obviously, it's a huge transformative project, and we take it very, very seriously, and we take all of your feedback incredibly to heart and seriously. So one of the things we've heard a lot is wanting to make this walkable, and doing that by, we're looking at the sidewalks, the way we've set things up, creating some green spaces, and just making it a place where people want to congregate and enhancing the neighborhood experience. The scale of the buildings, we've heard loud and clear that that's been some concern, especially on the east side of Florida where the YMCA was located. Green space and green buildings, one of the comments was, we often see these really great green buildings and green spaces, and then they kind of revert back to something different, that at the end they get value engineered. Noise and traffic, especially on Ross, as Matt mentioned, with the YMCA being on the more residential side of the street. And then, what is this YMCA going to look like? And that Matt will tackle that. So on the walkability, sorry, we can skip this this is a general site plan. And in order to make it walkable, we did a couple of things. We've really focused on this paseo that would go through from Oak to Palm and be pedestrian. It would allow for slow traffic, but mostly pedestrian walkway, and kind of continue on from Franklin, which is a really great and maybe underutilized thoroughfare in the city of Tampa. We wanted to connect it to Oak, which can also be an east-west gateway to the neighborhood with our, and then with this development, and then if you're headed to Armature Works as well, and kind of connecting everything, going back to brick pavers, and investing in that. So it's a really nice residential feeling and walkable street. And then expanding sidewalks where we could, maxing them out. We essentially have maxed out all the sidewalks everywhere we can. This is an older site plan, but where they were, you can see them still thin shown here on Ross, on the north side, and as well on Florida. Those have since been expanded by Kimley Horn. It hasn't been updated on the site plan. So creating as wide of sidewalks as we can, and pushing the planter boxes to the edge of the sidewalk to kind of block people from the traffic that goes up and down Florida, which can be fast at times. And also just, again, using that, taking Franklin and really making it beautiful, green, and walkable, and kind of insulating the neighborhood from Tampa and Florida as thoroughfares for traffic. And then the last pieces that we're working on and we'll present, in subsequent meetings, is the curated retail. Obviously, we think that there's a lot of great local shops, and that's kind of what we're promoting. We've also heard that there wanted to be some, subsidized incubators on the retail side, which we've accommodated in our planning. So we've tried to take as much as we've, for all the feedback that we've heard, and incorporate it to the extent possible.
So this is the original design for the YMCA. It was a 110,000 square foot YMCA. It was 95 feet tall. And some of the feedback we got was like, that might be a little bit too massive of a building on the east side of Florida, specifically, button up to some of the residential. So we've revised this plan. We've knocked it down to 60 feet. And actually, this doesn't show it as well, but it actually gets a little bit shorter as it goes towards Ross Avenue. So the highest point is 60 feet on Palm, and it gets lower as you go to progressively lower as you go to Ross. The square footage is right around 68 to 70,000 square feet now. So we reduced the height by about 35% and reduced the size of it by about 35%, but still think that the way that we scaled it, that we'll have a lot of the great amenities that everybody expects out of the YMCA. Another big comment was, because there was pickleball on the roof of the first design, and someone thought, hey, I'm going to be hearing pickleball all night long. And so we removed some of those components off the roof. There's two designs of this. One is a pool on the street level, which is a lot less expensive, to be quite honest. That's how our pool is now over at the Central City Y. This I still like, and a lot of the member feedback and general community feedback was the excitement of a rooftop pool. So we have two different designs that we're working on and seeing how we can work that into the pricing. But again, reduce the height of the YMCA by around 35% and reduce the size of the YMCA by about 35%.
Is what the current zoning would allow in the YMCA. So we tried to push it as far as we could, taking feedback from the community.
The other thing is that in the initial plan, we had the child care center on the first floor, and there was an access and an exit on Ross Avenue. So we didn't want families to have to stop on Florida Avenue to drop off their children. So we removed actually the child care entirely from this design, and we're going to find another place for it in the overall development. So there will be no in and out on Ross Avenue. All the access to this building will come from the parking structure and the pedestrian walk over Florida, and then from the corner of Florida and Palm Avenue to get into the building. Trying to think of what else. Yeah, I mean, this was like really comments from the general public, some people from this room as well, and feedback we got from member surveys, but people really want to make sure we maintain child watch for their kids, where they exercised, maintaining lots of high level quality program for the teens and after school times for kids in the neighborhood. This Y will still be able to offer day camp in the summer, after school programs for parents who, school lets out at a certain time and parents work till 6 o'clock at night. No, they can come to this YMCA, and then the parents can pick them up from this Y and go home. They know their kids are doing something safe and constructive during those hours. They don't have to go home by themselves. We added an activity pool. Right now, our pool is really a lap pool. A lot of the families wanted more accessible pools for their kids and also for seniors. And so there's going to be a lap pool, but there's also going to be a zero depth entry activity pool for kids and for families and for individuals who might have some mobility concerns getting in and out of the pool. The pickleball, like I said, is removed from the roof to reduce noise. We do have a gymnasium where we can accommodate a number of courts inside, so we'll still have that recreational activity for our community, but just not up on the roof, because it is a loud sport, and that might have been a little bit narrow thinking on our part to put it on the roof. It just was really cool. Remove the preschool, like I said, and eliminating that traffic concerns from Ross Avenue. We're also talking about, for the overall development of making sure that trying to get a right turn only onto Florida Avenue, so people can't come across Ross and go down Ross to say the east, coming from across Florida and heading down the street. So if you come out of a parking structure on the west side of Florida, you can only come out and go north on Florida, which would be nice to help eliminate any type of additional traffic. And everything else, like all the programming and things, is really the stuff that we heard back from the community that, like, we really want to make sure that you have this, you accommodate this. Yeah, so this is kind of like the view of how that YMCA would look if you're looking east, standing on Palm Avenue. You can see the church, you can see the YMCA. So it's a much smaller footprint. The elevation is much lower as well. And and then this is kind of looking up Florida. So how that would look right there. Yeah, this is kind of looking from Ross Avenue, looking west. These are some interior kind of conceptual shots of what inside the YMCA would look like. Inside the Y would be a lobby, but there'd be like a co-op there where where individuals could come and work throughout the day, or whether kids are in swim lessons or in youth sports, or their partner's taking a class, whatever it might be. There'd be lots of active space within this YMCA. Now, the rooftop activities would be much more serene and calm, whether it's yoga or Pilates or something along those lines. But we have such a beautiful skyline here and beautiful weather. We wanted to make sure at this facility we could have the community take advantage of it. And the wellness center is going to be substantial. No, it's probably going to be 4 times the size that we currently have at the Central City Y. So really able to accommodate the population that's moving in to the area, and make sure that folks who have lived here for 30 years and 40 years and have been a member of this Y ever since still don't feel that they're still welcome and not kind of pushed out by new residential folks moving into the neighborhood. There's some community update, some other meetings too we're going to have about this. We've been going out and handing invites to small neighboring businesses up and down Franklin. We're going to talk about this project in depth, because the way that a neighbor sees this versus the way a business sees it versus the way a community at large sees it, we want to make sure that we create segmented conversations so that someone doesn't have to sit in the back of the room and listen to really a concern or a conversation for 30 minutes. It doesn't really concern them. Really kind of to segment the conversation so that there can be good, deep conversation with specific individuals. February 6th, there will be a full all out, a big invite for a lot of folks. We'll have videos of this and walkthroughs. We've got these cool technology where you can actually use a joystick and walk into buildings and walk down streets. The traffic studies to show how the traffic will be at 6 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning, and how that really will affect the overall activity throughout the community. And that'll be like that'll probably be like a 4-hour open house sort of thing. We'll do it at our community initiatives building there at 1905 North Florida, where you can actually come in and see and touch the entire project, and we'll receive feedback at that gathering as well. Then of course there's the first reading right now on March 21st at City Council. So those are the updates on the YMCA, some of the concessions that we made to try to accommodate some of the concerns that we heard, and open to questions and comments at your leisure, sir. Well, if you want a sauna, you kind of step outside, but no. So we do want to have we do want to have kind of an executive experience in the locker rooms, but we also want to make sure that we accommodate families as well. So the designs have adult male and adult female locker rooms that we would like to have saunas. But then we also are going to have a separate family locker room where if you come with a 5-year-old son, you don't want to send him into the men's locker room by himself, but you don't want to take him into the women's locker room because of the exposure that he may see. And so the family locker room has bigger lockers, private changing areas, private showers, and so there's no exposure in the general area, but you can have your privacy in the separate changing rooms. So yes, the plan would be to have that. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah. And we took, and I don't know if that was part of it last time, but we heard a lot of feedback from local individuals of, hey, oftentimes a development like this comes in and then we can't afford to do business there anymore. And that's always set aside those incubator spaces where it'll be, subsidized, reduced rent for local small businesses that still want to have a good presence in this development. Yes. Yeah, it's, when I expect to, as opposed to when you'd hope to. The way this will be scaled out is that, if it goes through city council smoothly, and all the conversations there have been really good, however long it takes for permitting, the very first project would be the YMCA. That would be that would be first. And then after that, we want to make sure there's no lapse in service of the Y, so the other Y wouldn't get knocked down until that one's fully open and operational. I would think that probably we might be able to break ground in a year, so maybe March of 2025. And some of you might know more about that process than I, and might auto correct me on that, but it'd be nice to have ground moving in March of 2025. And then usually a YMCA takes about 15 to 16 months to erect. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what he said. That wasn't updated. Oh, sure. Someone said that they saw still on Ross Avenue on the site plan that there was still parking access off of Ross. So the next one there. Yeah, that is no longer there. That's all cleared out. No, all the parking is across on Florida. Street entrance is on the corner of a Palm and Florida. Enter on the ground floor on the near on this photo, the bottom right corner, and then also in the catwalk, they would be going in onto the second floor. Yes, sir. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. I don't think new, but there are a lot of downtown YMCA's. There's a lot of other YMCA's that are kind of in a neighborhood like Tampa Heights that is kind of cut off from downtown, like because interstates were built and things of that nature. But yeah, there are. There's a great YMCA going in downtown Nashville, which is a downtown Y that is similar to this, except that's in a high rise structure, actually. Indianapolis, Denver. Yeah, there's lots of downtown YMCA's. Yeah. Oh, of everything, of the full development. No, typically what would happen is that the YMCA would sell the land to a developer and then walk away. Sell the land to a developer. Maybe the developer might build a YMCA and the YMCA would lease it back from them. We felt it was important. Look, the YMCA has had a presence in Tampa since 1889. Like we're not new here. We're the oldest social service. Like, not that you were taking swim lessons at that time. Yeah. But we wanted to maintain control of what would be happening there. So this is unique, where the YMCA would still be the landowner and the developers would own the buildings. However, so this is, I don't want to say it's completely new, but to this scale of us not selling off the land and giving off ownership of what happens is unique, more rare than what would typically happen. Usually YMCA would sell this for millions of dollars and go build someplace else. This YMCA at Central City was a Y that we've subsidized since the day it opened. We up to $750,000 a year would be a negative margin for this YMCA. And sometimes it's attractive to say, hey, look, we've done our job here. We've served where you serve. We've done it for decade after decade after decade. Let's go now to a growing community in the suburbs somewhere. But we're doing that already. And we really want to maintain our presence in Tampa Heights because it's important to us. And it's a community that's unique, that we feel that we're an intimate part of. And so we wanted to maintain as much ownership of the project here as possible. That's why we decided to go about it this route. Yes, sir. Yes. Sure. Well, I think we have to, there is, yes. I think the tallest conceptual building right now is about 270 feet, which is around 20 stories. But remember, it's kind of blocking for density. Like, and where do we put things and how do they all black up? But the concept right now, yes, there would be a residential tower that would be around 270 feet. Yeah. And to give you an idea of density, I think right now we could do around 830,000 square feet around that. Our concept has about 1.1 million square feet. So that's about the exception that we're asking for on this. Yes, sir. That is still there. That'll remain there. It's a good idea. You know, there are Ys that have that where you can have they call it a kit locker where you can keep stuff there. That's not in the plans right now though, but that's not to say it's not in the plans right now though, but it's not to say that's kind of a neat idea because I bet you that would be a service that would be desirable for folks. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, um there's a neat Y in Indianapolis where it's a bike hub where people come and you put your bike there. And there's actually like bike mechanics who tune it up for you. And they're kind of, you walk in, there's a bunch of bikes stored there. So that's something that's interesting that we should consider. Right now, it's not in the plan though, but that's definitely something to add to it. It's a great idea. Yeah. Thank you for that. Any other great ideas? Yes, sir. Yeah. We still have it accommodated on these for us if the streetcar was to come up and turn around on Palm, that we would give space for the stop there. Yeah, on the north side of Palm, right in the top building there. If you could maybe move the mouse over, can you do that? Yeah. Sorry for those on Zoom who can't see this, but it's an easement for the streetcar to make a loop there. We'd love it to come up and loop around and turn right there. I mean, we do whatever we could to help accommodate that for convenience for the community for sure. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yeah. 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 I know that I'm not sure exactly how it'd be done. There'd almost have to be a reconfiguration, you'd think, on Florida Avenue that would prevent folks from going straight. And no, we've had conversations with FDOT about how can we slow the traffic down right there, you know, and yeah, exactly. It's a conversation of like, if it's me, I'd like it to be more than just a sign, like left turn only. From the engineering feed of that, I'm not sure exactly how to be done, and I can't promise you it's gonna be enacted, but it's a conversation that we're having. We think would be helpful for this project. Yep, just loop right around. Yeah, well, the other thought of us too is making Ross one way that way, so you couldn't go back out to the west. Yeah. All ideas that you know, that's where we kind of talk through it. Yeah.
Sorry. It's on Ross, on the north side of the project, and we're looking to make that left turn only, so you can't go east out of the garage, which is where most of the traffic's going to originate from. And then the way we're looking at the Palm Avenue and the Ross Avenue, you know, left turn only is the same way like when you see some like a Walgreens or something where they've got the curbs kind of set up. So to go straight, you'd have to jump 2 curbs. We're talking to Kimley Horn about that, because we agree we don't want people to use the neighborhood streets as thoroughfares to get through, east and west in the city. They should use Palm or, the double lane streets. And that's what we're working with them on. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, not aware of that. Not part of this project. Yes.
I can understand that. And that's okay because they're still working through the project and I'm not going to hold that against them. But again, I'm still very concerned about the density of this project and what's really going to happen. And I'm not going to even say the word traffic because we all know traffic is terrible. But everything else, if you compare it to what the projects to the south are at 7 stories, to the west, they're 7 stories. Now, there are other projects going to be taller, but they're also further away and whatnot. So again, I'm getting happier personally, but I think there's still some work to do. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's even in the the corporate building that's there it's very green. There's green space on every floor going out to enjoy the views of looking downtown. It's pretty nice. Okay, great. Yes, sir. No, it was the entire first floor. And so it created a much bigger building and you had to have access for parents to come and drop the kids off. So we keep hearing that childcare is an extreme need in the area and we're not going to give up on that. We're just going to try to find another location on the overall development for it. Well, we would like to do both actually eventually. Yeah, preschool would be the pre-K, like the 2 to 4 years old or so, but we'd also like to get into full day childcare in the area as well. It would have been a significant loop there. Yeah. So we're going, again, we think, the YMCA is largest provider of childcare in the country, and we think it's really important we play that role here. We're doing it now in individual homes. around the city, but you're gonna start seeing a lot more preschool centers, especially in this area where the community is really starting to a lot of more families, and the need is great. Yes. Mm, sure. Yeah. 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 We feel the same way. Yeah. And it's true. Sometimes you have to evolve and get innovative to accommodate it sometimes. Yeah. So thank you. Yes. Mm, yeah. Sure. Oh no. And trust me, you know, there's a reason why the YMCA has been around for 135 years in Tampa. It's because when you share comments, genuinely, we internalize that and try to accommodate. We want to be good neighbors, and we want to take your comments and your feedback and put it to work to make this a YMCA and a community resource that we can all be proud of. So thank you for that, and we'll keep trying. And again, I know we get a lot of positive comments about this, but if there are more ones that you think, hey, there's ways to improve, share it with us. We won't be insulted. We'll try to implement it and make it the best like resource, like I said, that we can. Yeah, this initial building had layers of parking in it. You know, this was a this was a much bigger building at first. So it's and all that stuff is all, yeah, it's all gone now. So it's, and I think again, this is something that's really taken shape, and it's looking great. I would encourage everybody, and we'll hopefully we can email out those dates to everybody, and on the 6th, if to come and stop by and just walk and look at this and really get a good feel for the entire project, not just the YMCA, but the entire scope. Absolutely. No, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Yes, sir. No, the awnings I believe were on the rotunda, in the Paseo area where there was coffee shops and things like that, like to create shade for people eating or drinking coffee. Yeah, but there was no awnings on the building that I saw. If it was, yeah. If if I'd see any awnings on the Y, it might be sometimes we use like shade sails on the rooftop aspect of it, like where people are doing yoga or stretching, that we can help keep it a little bit cool and not direct sunlight. But that would be it'd be tasteful and architecturally nice, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So our last Y that we did was gold lead certified. And we'll see if we can, how much of that we could accommodate here. It's not currently in the plans, but it's part of our strategic plan to spend a certain amount on those types of improvements for our facilities. So like we've done the geothermal water heating in the past and cooling. So all those things would be considered in this. Yeah, sure. All right. Yes. No, not yet, but we and I think on the 6th we're gonna have some of those things addressed. There's some pretty cool ideas for that, even that that incorporate on the larger buildings the sanitation trucks going underneath. going underneath and then coming on another side. So, and it looks, and here, we're high enough where we can do that. And we've done the soil testing where it shows that we can accommodate that. So it'd be a neat way to do that. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Yes. 10 feet. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It'll probably be like a 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock type thing. So it'd be a big window. Might even start a little bit earlier for some folks if they want, but we'll make sure you get all that information ASAP. Yeah, sure. Great. Okay. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you all for your questions, comments, interest in that. I'm really glad to hear Matt's comments, and I think they genuinely are listening. So we'll keep that dialogue open. I think there's still some details to work through, but the good thing is it's evolving, and I think y'all are listening and acting. So thank you.
And maybe we can send it out too through your guys' emails, like to send out to the members, but it's Tampa Heights at TampaYMCA.org. Tampa Heights at TampaYMCA.org. Any comments, concerns, feedback, other good suggestions that you'd like for us to consider incorporating, send it to that and we monitor it. Tampa Heights at TampaYMCA.org.
Great. So if you guys, I think one of them was on the 30th. Is that right? So if you want to get us that information tomorrow, we'll send it out in an email. We've got over 800 people on our email list, so we'll get that out to all those folks for the upcoming meetings. Thanks. And then if is there a place also like a homepage for the development plans or somewhere where folks don't have to go onto Acela to download some of this, or is there sort of a landing page you could have just for basic facts? Okay. Okay, might be something you think about that helps get some of that word out and clarify misconceptions where somebody can actually look at the current site plan themselves. And yeah, great. Thank you. All right. Are there any other announcements on the floor before we adjourn? Great. Hearing none, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you everybody for your time tonight.